How do the moon phases affect us as sensitive people and our relationships? Hi, my name is Leah Chantal, and today I'm talking about moon phases and how they affect our relationships. And they affect us more than we think. So moon phases affect our lives because it gives us a big energetic boost. This is the time to dream big. That's the time to really go after difficult and ambitious goals. That's the time to finish projects or initiate new projects. The full moon gives us that oomph, that ability to concentrate and really get something done. That's when we're finishing our essays for university. That's when we're getting the job interview and killing it. These phases of the moon actually affect our energy greatly, and we're a lot more successful when we align our efforts and we push harder during times when we have more energy. As for our relationships though, one of the mistakes that we make is that we transmute that energy that we have towards making a living or finishing a book or creating a beautiful art piece into going after a potential partner. And that doesn't work well for us because the majority of people that we're going to bump into as potential partners are going to be logically driven people. Us sensitives are actually pretty rare in society. We do exist, we are out there, but the mass majority of people in relationships relating to us will be logical people. And the thing about logical people is that they can masquerade as sensitive people. And if we go after them, like we're going after a work project or we're ambitious and trying to get something done, the problem is we're going to drive them away. And here's the funny thing about logical people is they will study us as sensitive people and they can even masquerade as a sensitive person themselves because they're trying to relate to us. They're trying to get into our good graces. But here's the problem with that: when logical people mimic sensitive people, eventually they exhaust themselves. They can't continue in the relationship because they haven't had their needs met. They're feeling totally drained. And to us, as sensitive people, we have no idea what happened because we just assume the other person's a sensitive person. They approach us like they're interested in meeting our parents, or they really want a serious relationship and they want to meet our friends, or whatever it is that we're hoping for as a sensitive person. But then they may drop away unexpectedly after that meeting with the parents is over, or after that meeting with the friends is over, or they did whatever we wanted them to do because we asked them to do that, assuming that they're as sensitive like us and they want the same things as us and they are energized the same way that we are as sensitive people by security. But truthfully, they're more energized by adventure and by mystery than we are as sensitive people. That type of thing kind of freaks us out, but that actually gives the logical person a boost in relationships. When we believe that they're sensitive and we're satisfying the needs of a sensitive person, but they're actually masquerading and they're really a logical person, what will happen over time in that relationship is they will burn out. And I've heard this over and over again from sensitive people where they say, I don't know why my boyfriend suddenly broke up with me. I never really got closure. They were talking to me one minute and then they're gone and dropped off the next, or they disappeared after they met the parents. The reason why this happens is we believe that they're actually like us as sensitive people, but they're pretending because they want to get in our good graces, okay? And then they drop off and disappear because they've lied and they've emptied their fuel tank and they go away. And that's the closure you need actually when things are a bit mysterious and you don't know why things have ended. This is exactly the reason why. It's because people have been masquerading, pretending to be something else that they actually are not. And underneath the surface, they actually had different needs than we anticipated as sensitive people. And this plays into the phases of the moon because we tend to be more active and pursue something in our lives when the moon is full. And so we need to be aware of that that's the timing when we're most vulnerable to our behavior of chasing or being really aggressive or putting a lot of energy into a relationship with a logical person when they're not really capable of receiving that energy or being really fulfilled by our efforts. We need to keep ourselves busy around the time of the full moon because that's when we're actually going to fulfill our dream life. And then that nurtures us and it feeds our relationships in the right way, that we are busy and fulfilled with other areas of our lives and we can show up with grace and maturity into any romantic relationship that we have with a logical person. We're not dependent on them for our happy lives. And it's a bit crazy to depend on them if you think about it. We've been brought up to believe in the fairy tale that the logical person is going to fulfill our fantasy and be the happily ever after. But truthfully, any logical person will always be an addition to our lives as sensitive people. We have to feed ourselves with our own self-love first. And then the person who joins our life is just a cherry on top of the cake. When we live our lives that way, then we're truly fulfilled and we're not that deeply affected if logical people do decide to drop out of our lives. We're too busy engaged in things that are meaningful to us. Now, in times of the new moon, or if there's a lunar eclipse, that's when we tend to be a bit more passive, and that's when we can take good care of ourselves. That's when you don't necessarily have to be pushing that hard on your projects, or if you're looking for a new partner, that's the time you don't necessarily have to go out to the bars or go outside to look for a partner. You can just spend some quiet time on your own and that will nurture you. And people will give our quiet time alone some flack when we're looking for a relationship. There's this built-in assumption that we can't find any partners from the comfort of our own home. There is a time and a place for everything as sensitive people. And sometimes when we're relaxed and we're just being, we can attract so many good things in our lives rather than we're on push mode. Yes, we do need to push at times and have discipline towards things that we care about and take some action. We can't be passive all the time, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to be busy 24/7 and going. There's something powerful about a pause. And the new moon is a perfect time to slow down on projects or slow down in your goals, dreams, and ambitions and just be happy in your own energy and take really good care of yourself as a sensitive person. And believe it or not, that can attract more powerfully at times than even our own efforts.